Assalamu alaikum, parents and students. Welcome to another week of distance learning. Please make sure when you log into MS Teams that you go to the correct channel. We'll be doing math today. After that, please make sure you press on files, and this is week 13, so we will enter week 13. After you enter your files, please make sure to check there is the lesson plan, the PowerPoint, the worksheet, as well as the answer key. Please open up the online learning lesson plan because in it you will find the lesson overview, the success criteria, learning steps and assignments, as well as helpful resources. So let's begin with our presentation for today. Today in math, we'll be going over describing the sides of polygons. All right, so please make sure that you check out the online resources. There is an online game. There's also a quiz as well as the lesson tutorials. So our learning intention for today is that learners should be able to determine if lines or line segments are intersecting, perpendicular, or parallel. And if you don't know what these words mean, that's okay. We'll be going over it. The success criteria is the following. I can identify intersecting, perpendicular, and parallel lines. I can describe the sides of polygons. I can differentiate between intersecting, perpendicular, and parallel sides. I can use what I know about sides to solve word problems. All right, here's the class agenda. You will be able to define sides of polygons. Together with your class, you'll be able to describe sides of polygons, and alone you will be able to find the difference between the sides of the polygons. Here is the lesson vocabulary. The word line, line segments, intersecting, perpendicular, and parallel. Okay, and we'll go over all of this lesson vocabulary so that you understand what all of these words mean. Now, what is a line? Let's start with a line. A line is a straight path that goes on forever in both directions. So a line always has these little arrows on it because it goes on forever in both directions. That means this line will continue going this way and it'll continue going this way. Now, what is a line segment? A line segment is part of a line that has two endpoints. So a line segment ends. That's why it's called a line segment. It has two endpoints. All right, so it has a beginning and an end. Now, what are parallel lines? Parallel lines are lines that never intersect. That means these lines, they will never cross. This line will keep running this way, and this line will keep running this way. They will never cross. They will never make any kind of intersection. Okay? So parallel lines are lines that never, ever, ever, ever cross. So next are intersecting lines. What are intersecting lines? They're lines that cross at any point. So these are called intersecting lines. And you can see over here, these lines are crossing. Now they're different from parallel lines. Do you remember how parallel lines, they never cross, they never intersect. So intersecting lines means they cross and they have a point where they cross at. Okay, now what are perpendicular lines? They are two lines that cross to form a right angle. And you can see over here we've got a right angle. Okay, so perpendicular lines, they cross, but they need to make that right angle over there. So now we're going to practice. You're going to take a second. You can pause the video to name each figure. You're going to try to name each figure, and we're going to check over them together. So take a second, try to name A, then B, and we'll go over it. All right, so that should be enough time. Remember, we're using our vocabulary words to name each figure. So we're going to find out what each of these figures is called. So this one over here is a line, and that's because it goes on forever on each side. All right, and this one over here is a line segment because it has two endpoints, so it's a line segment. So if you said line and line segment, you are correct. What about these ones over here? We're going to practice. Are these intersecting or perpendicular lines? I'm going to give you a second, and you're going to name each of these figures. They are either going to be intersecting or perpendicular. Take your time. You can go ahead and pause the video, and then when you unpause it, we'll go over the answers together. All right, so let's see what you've answered. Let's take a look and decide what kind of figures these are. So over here, A is perpendicular, and that's because they're crossing and they're also creating that right angle. B is intersecting because the lines just cross. And C is perpendicular again because they create a right angle. Alright, so at the end of the lesson, please make sure you do your exit ticket. You can use the learning pit to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I find it? And make sure you give your teacher your feedback. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.